What's up, YouTube? The NFL playoffs are finally here. You guys know I do this every single year on this channel where I predict, playoff games, who's going to win the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. Last year, I did end up getting my prediction correct for the Super Bowl, having the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. But without further ado, let's get straight into this video. First up, we got the Denver Broncos at the Buffalo Bills. I just want to give a shout out to the Denver Broncos. They really overachieved this season. Bo Nix as a starting quarterback in his rookie season, leading this team to the playoffs, and Sean Payton's second year, I believe, as the Denver Broncos head coach. This team was, before the season started, a lot of people had the Denver Broncos with like a top 5 pick in the draft. They did not expect this team to win this many games. They did wait until the last game of the season playing the Kansas City Chiefs backups to secure that playoff spot. But nonetheless, this team very, very much overachieved. I did want to see the Cincinnati Bengals, though, in the playoffs because I just think they would have gave Buffalo a little bit more of a run for their money. Just because Joe Burrow is on that team, I know how bad that defense is. But I still think this is going to be a good game. Denver Broncos, one of the best defenses in the league, top 2 in my opinion. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are just the better team. They have the better quarterback, more experience, all that good stuff. But shout out to the Denver Broncos on an amazing season. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys know I've been hyping up the Packers this year. I think they're a dark horse to win the NFC. But unfortunately, they're playing the Eagles in the first round, and I just think the Eagles are rolling right now. Saquon made a huge difference. Amazing addition to this team. I'm sorry, Green Bay. I don't know. Just these last few weeks, I kind of just fell off the Green Bay train. But I don't know. All season, I was saying they're my pick to make it out of the NFC. I could regret this. But playing Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, I just think that's a tough task. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry, Packers fans. I fell off the train, though. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. This one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know what it is with them. They just collapse once they reach, that positive record that Mike Tomlin always reaches. 10 wins, and then they lost, I think, their last 4 or 5 games. Just ridiculous. Russell Wilson's playing poor football right now. He actually started the season off. Obviously, he wasn't the week 1 starter, but once he took over that starting spot over Justin Fields, he was playing some of the best football, I wouldn't say of his career because we all know Seattle, Russell Wilson, but after that Seattle, run, he was playing some of the best football of his career. But now he's just falling off the train. Him and George Pickens seem to be not on the same page. I just think this is going to be a disaster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens easily. Next up, we got one of the more fun games. I believe this is the Sunday night game of Wild Card Weekend. Washington Commanders, obviously Jaden Daniels leading this team to a playoff berth in his rookie season. This is a good game, in my opinion. This can go either way. I think I'm going to take the Buccaneers, though. That experience of Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, all that, Todd Bowles, I just think they're the more experienced team. But I think this can go either way. Jaden Daniels having one of the best rookie seasons of all time. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington wins, but I'm just going to take the safe bet, and I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this game. Shout out to Baker Mayfield, one of my favorite quarterbacks. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Houston Texans. An amazing QB duel. Justin Herbert versus CJ Stroud, but I think the Chargers are the better team. They got the better defense, better O-line. The weapons are honestly similar now. Actually, no, they still got Nico Collins. But I was going to say, with all the injuries to the Houston Texans wide receiver core, like Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, I was going to say the weapons are kind of similar, but Nico Collins just makes it like a difference in my opinion. And they did end up adding Deontay Johnson to this wide receiver core. I almost forgot about that. But I just think the Chargers are the better team. I think Justin Herbert's going to get his first playoff win. Shout out to Justin Herbert, my favorite quarterback in the league. He gets his first playoff win. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the LA Rams. I think this is an amazing game. This is the Monday night game of Wild Card Weekend. Minnesota Vikings were in contention, obviously, until the last game of the season, losing to the Detroit Lions. Sam Darnold having an amazing season. I think he's 5 in MVP voting. In my opinion, he would be 5. Shout out to Sam Darnold being an MVP candidate. But playing against the LA Rams in LA, I think this is going to be a tough task for the Vikings. But I'm actually going to take the Vikings, though. Kevin O'Connell, an amazing coach, going to win Coach of the Year, in my opinion. This game could go either way, though. This is going to be an amazing game. I want to take the Rams, kind of, but I'm going to take the Vikings. I like what the Vikings are doing. They have one of the best defenses in the league. I'm sticking with the Vikings with this one. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Chiefs. Man, the divisional round is going to be amazing, especially on the AFC side, just looking at these matchups. I think the Chargers can upset. I really do think the Chargers can upset, especially like a divisional game. My gut kind of wants to take the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs just because Patty Mahomes. I don't think this is the same Chiefs team we saw last year. Obviously, they're hunting that three-peat. I don't think it's the same Chiefs team we saw last year. Their defense isn't as good. Travis Kelce looks to be on the decline, and injuries to Rashee Rice and Marquise Brown's just getting acclimated. Xavier Worthy's a rookie, all that good stuff. But Patty Mahomes is Patty Mahomes. I don't think he goes out first game of the playoffs. He's for sure getting a playoff win, in my opinion. So I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Chargers. But I think this is going to be an amazing game. Down to the wire for sure. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. I think this is a game the Minnesota Vikings could win. Obviously, we just saw the Vikings get obliterated on Sunday Night Football versus the Detroit Lions for the division. But I think this is a game the Vikings can win, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm picking the Detroit Lions to beat the Minnesota Vikings, but I think this is a game the Minnesota Vikings could win, but I'm not going to do it. Next up, we got the Ravens versus the Bills. Man, what a game. I think this could be the year where Lamar finally wins the Super Bowl. Having Derrick Henry has just changed his team, but their defense is horrible, and I think Lamar is going to be held back by the defense in winning the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry, Lamar, but I really am hoping for Lamar to win his first Super Bowl. I wasn't the biggest fan of Lamar, but I am moved by Lamar finally this season. This is the best I've ever seen Lamar. 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Lamar has moved me this year. He should win MVP, and I would really like to see him win the Super Bowl. He said on draft day, you're going to get a Super Bowl out of me to Deion Sanders on draft day. I would love to see it happen. But this defense, I believe, is going to hold them back. If only they had the Baltimore defense from last season, they would for sure be my Super Bowl pick. But their defense has looked awful. So I can't choose Baltimore. Next up, we got the Buccaneers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Buccaneers ended up getting the Philadelphia Eagles out last season. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles had a similar collapse to what the Pittsburgh Steelers are having, where they lost their final 6 games of the season, and then they ended up losing their first game in the playoffs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I don't think it happens this year. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a different team from last season. I know this is kind of looking like I'm just choosing the favorites of these games, but I really just think this is how the playoffs are going to go this year. Not too many upsets in my play. I usually have a lot of upsets in my playoff predictions, but this year I just think these are the best 4 teams in the league, and I don't see them losing. So we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the 1 and the 2 on both sides. I think this is the year. I think this is finally the year where Josh Allen beats Patty Mahomes. I would love to see, a three-peat. I'm a Patty Mahomes guy. But this defense isn't the same as last year. The offense, obviously the offense wasn't clicking in the regular season last year either, but when the playoffs came around, Patty Mahomes just turns into a different beast. I want to pick the Chiefs, but I've picked the Chiefs the last 2 years, so I can't do it. And I know they're in a three-peat year, so I would love to pick them again. But I just have a feeling Josh Allen, this is the year he finally does it and beats Patty Mahomes. So I'm going to choose the Buffalo Bills. And then in the NFC side, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Detroit Lions. Man, this could go either way, but I'm choosing teams with defense. Defense, if you're having problems on defense, I just cannot pick you to win the Super Bowl. A lot of the last couple of Super Bowl winners, almost every Super Bowl winner, doesn't have, massive flaws on defense. And I think this Lions secondary is going to get carved up, especially against a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. And Terrion Arnold, the rookie, one of my favorite rookies coming out of the draft. Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Just got injured, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? He might not even play during the playoffs. I don't know how serious that ankle injury is. It an ankle or a knee? Someone let me know down below. It's either an ankle or a knee. But I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Detroit Lions. So that makes the Super Bowl matchup The Buffalo Bills versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the two number 2 seeds on both sides. I think this is going to be an amazing Super Bowl. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles made it like 2 years ago. Buffalo Bills haven't made the Super Bowl in I don't know how long. They haven't made a Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era, but they make it to their first Super Bowl. And I'm choosing the Buffalo Bills as my Super Bowl winners of the 2025 NFL season. Josh Allen gets his first Super Bowl win. I think this is the year. Chiefs do not three-peat, but I will not be surprised if they do three-peat just because Patty Mahomes is a beast in the playoffs. But for content purposes and my gut feeling, I just have a feeling the Buffalo Bills win their first Super Bowl. Not their first Super Bowl, but first Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era, the year after Stephon Diggs leaves. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. They are my Super Bowl winner. Let me know who you guys have winning the Super Bowl this season. Just a fun video I like to do every single year. But shout out to the Buffalo Bills. Let me know who you guys have down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.